Well, that was interesting, confusing, annoying, but I genuinely thought this would feel a bit more like Doctor Who. Instead, it just seemed like a bizarre drama set in a school that one of the Doctor's companions worked at for a time. There doesn't really seem to be much else in class that's actually connected to Doctor Who. But this is only the first episode, and further information about what is going on in this story will probably be revealed as we go. To reiterate, I really did find myself very confused throughout watching this. And I don't know if this is my brain slowly melting out of my ears as I watch more Doctor Who related nonsense on the telly, or if the writing was just that bad that literally nothing made any sense. Upon watching it a second time around, however, the story is certainly a lot clearer to me. I think the show probably could have tried pacing it a bit better so we could be more engaged with the story. When I heard this show was going to become a reality, I honestly didn't understand why going back to that school where Clara worked would be a good idea, but it happened anyway, so we're stuck with it now. I guess it's pretty important seeing as this is the first ever location used in Doctor Who ever, but the most recent episodes that have involved that school have been fucking trash. I have yet to watch episodes 2 and 3 purely because I haven't had the time, and after watching the first episode, unfortunately I have very little incentive to continue watching, and now we shall examine this episode a little closer and find out why this is. Firstly, I wasn't quite expecting this episode to be as adult in content as it was. I mean, we had a pretty graphic set of deaths that took me by surprise. Considering this was to be set in a school, I initially thought this would be Sarah Jane Adventures levels of tameness, but apparently not. So we open the front page and we have some vague introduction sequence that I'm not going to really talk about because it's not important until later. The title sequence is a bit cringy, but I can just about stomach it for being relatively short and just being rather mediocre throughout it. So it's the start of the school day, and of course the BBC slaps us up with a comment about uniforms not being gender specific.
Well, the boys wear dinner jackets and the girls wear ball gowns, but you don't need to be that gender specific.
Duh, I was under the impression you can wear what you fucking want. Now, I still don't quite understand why there is a prom going on in autumn, for one thing. I thought that kind of party would be held at the end of the academic year, like in the summer. Oh no, a dramatic stain on the floor.
Downton Abbey.
I like Downton Abbey.
Of course you like it. It's a bunch of white people being nice to each other.
And the problem with that is... there is actually another similarly irritating comment later on in the episode when she is chatting to Ram.
Isn't this great? The two of us talking about something other than what the white people are doing.
What does this even mean, you racist fuck? Imagine if a white character were to say, "Cool, crikey, old chap, aren't you happy we aren't doing what the black people are doing?" Yeah, it would be fucking racist, wouldn't it? Then to top off her stupidity, right, she doesn't even know her own fucking address. She's in year 12 and doesn't even know the address at which she lives. What does that say about the modern youth? Rewinding a bit, we are formally introduced to RAM. No, not RAM that's built inside your computer, nor am I talking about the sheep, I am talking about this character that is introduced to us on a football pitch. This honestly is the most unnecessarily dramatic depiction of football I think I've ever seen. And I thought seeing Matt Smith play was bad. So then after that, the teacher makes him run around the pitch, yeah, get this, because he stopped and looked concerned. If this is what being part of a sports team is like, then I have just reaffirmed my aggression towards football.
I caught my husband fiddling with himself on the stairs.
What the fuck? LOL! The special effects in this episode aren't too bad, but are a bit cartoony in my opinion. The Shadowkin dudes don't really look that menacing, to be honest, but that sweeping shot of the planet the prince comes from is pretty impressive. Despite this, however, the people who came from said planet are all wearing school uniforms? What? Then, for no reason that is ever given in the episode, the Doctor comes along and says, "Right, you're magically employed at a school, and you're enrolled in her classes. Good luck, fuckers." Didn't even give them any clothes or money or anything. Did they even speak English when they got to the school? It would be a coincidence of unprecedented magnitude if they did already know it. I mean, I know they're knowledgeable and all, but I'm still calling bullshit on this one. So these two characters that escaped death and destruction have now dragged all that shit with them to a place full of children. Let's just say it's a lot easier to kill children than it is fully grown adults. What the fucking hell were you thinking, Doctor? Wow, so it's an academy too now. I mean, there we go, Doctor. You could have sent them to any school and the one you chose is an academy. I mean, that just says it all, doesn't it? I did actually really like the moments in the episode where the main characters are all getting ready for the prom. It's the dramatic tension of going to something you should be enjoying whilst anticipating a shadow monster popping up and stabbing you in the back. Normally these prom scenes in TV shows bore the fucking daylights out of me and remind me of my loathing of the idea in general, but this segment wasn't that bad. That tension of dying and having fun is definitely felt, even if their fear isn't that greatly examined here. Unfortunately, after that, the funniest moment in the episode happened. I don't quite know what caused my outburst of laughter upon seeing that girl getting fucking annihilated out of nowhere. I think the best way to describe it is like when you're watching a really badly made horror movie and one of the characters dies in a really absurd and over-the-top way. As if it wasn't enough to have a girl stabbed in the back and then disintegrated, Ram then gets his fucking leg cut off. It's actually hilarious. Then all the sane and rational characters stupidly attempt to warn everybody that they're going to die if they don't leave the building. Why don't you just set off the fire alarm, you fucking idiots? To be fair to the show, the four main characters aren't too shabby. They have enough depth for them to be believable, even if their decision making isn't, which is good considering I was expecting these guys to be, well, children. And can we just take a moment and thank God Courtney never made a return? Can I get an amen for that decision, please? The Doctor arriving is a little convenient, but his performance was great as usual. It was a little strange considering the other spin-offs the BBC has created didn't have the Doctor appearing in the first episode just so people could understand the connection between Class and Doctor Who. When the Doctor sees Pink and Clara on the board at the end, I love how we never actually got a resolve to the Pink issue. Like, it would have been nice for there to have been an explanation as to whether or not Danny was related to Orson Pink in the episode Listen. Guess that never got resolved in the end, did it? So after the villains are sent back to their homeworld, the Doctor gives Ram a spare leg. Seriously, why did his leg need to even be cut off in the first place? To be fair, I can't wait to see his old man's face when he sees him in shorts. Maybe it will look something like this. Then after that, it becomes abundantly clear that we're not done with the rubbish villains, seeing as April still doesn't have her heart back. Hopefully they won't make it a recurring thing and it is just solved in no more than one future episode. The ending with the countless portals is definitely quite interesting and I do hope that it's utilised properly in the rest of the series, if I bother watching it. So, did it suck? It's hard to tell with only one episode to go on, but this opening episode wasn't really that great. The whole idea of this episode even existing fills me with dread at the amount of cringe audiences will have to endure after this taster of what's to come. The politically correct dialogue, which was fortunately kept to a minimum after the first 15 minutes or so, and that hilarious sequence towards the end where Ram's GF gets obliterated and his leg gets cut off, just doesn't make me really want to watch much more. The only thing keeping me going is that the characters were pretty solid and that there aren't really any appalling child actors strewn across the cast list to annoy me to death. Maybe episode 2 will be an improvement, we will just have to wait and see. I give the first episode of Class a 4 out of 10. I hate having a blocked nose. Fucking sucks! Woo! Finally, fuck. The special effects in this episode aren't too bad, but... Right, you're magically employed at a school and you're enrolled in her classes. Right, right, oh fuck. I'm actually squatting now. Why don't you just set off the They have enough depth for them. The Doctor arriving is a little convenient, but his performance was I thought seeing Matt Smith play was... Oh shit, the cat's ticking, isn't it?
Oh my god! You're gonna have to read the whole...
No, I can't be bothered. It's I've done videos
fun.
for...
Just put it in there. Just put a little cat animation.
As many of you have probably been made aware by the fucking shocking quality of these videos, you'll find that there is what's it called? A lucky cat waving its hand, and every time it does wave its hand, it's not a quiet little cat. It's quite unfortunate that it isn't, but every time it moves its hand forward, it clicks. Look, you'll hear it now. Now, I do apologise for all of the videos that it has been involved in, but I'll try my best to remember it next time because...
It brings you good luck.
Yeah, I'm sure it brings me good luck, but it's also...
What bought you 2,000 subscribers.
And it's fucking ruining the quality of my videos.
He bought you 2,000.
Yeah, bollocks did he? I'm sure it was nothing to do with my ability to analyse and critique things and make humour out of it. Right, anyway.